All right. Hi, everyone. Hi, Ashley. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, hi, Leah. Leah says hi in the chat. Super excited to be here today with Ashley Crouch. So why don't we go ahead and get started, just in the interest of time. For anyone who's new, my name is Velma McCaffrey, and I'm the founder of Work Bigger, which is a platform helping you find the right career path so that you can love your work and also make a difference in the world. And we provide support through content, community. So if you're not part of the community already on Facebook, definitely join us there, and also programming. And really thrilled to be doing another Work Bigger Stories interview today. Work Bigger Stories are interviews with women who are mission-driven, and they're changing the world by either aligning with mission-driven organizations, by redefining work and making work for them by creating a freelance career or something more flexible, or launching companies, creating their own businesses that make a huge impact in the world. So before we get started and before I introduce the amazing Ashley, I would like to just highlight some quick logistical items. So we're recording the call, so I'll definitely be sharing this with you after. It'll also be on Facebook Live, specifically in our Work Bigger community. We're going to leave some room for Q&A at the end. So Ashley and I will probably be chatting for about 25, 30 minutes. We'll see how things go. I like to keep it flexible and laid back. But definitely, please feel free to include any questions that you have in the chat box or the Q&A box, and we'll cover those directly after. And I think that's it for the logistical stuff. So with that, so excited to introduce Ashley Crouch, whose bio is incredible. And I'm going to do a brief introduction right now. But Ashley is the founder of Appleseed Communications, which is a PR firm that helps entrepreneurs get the media attention they deserve. She has worked with best-selling authors, CEOs of multi-million-dollar companies, TEDx speakers, social innovators, and more. And she's helped her clients get featured on hundreds of outlets, including Entrepreneur, Fox Business, MSNBC, Huffington Post Live, Fast Company, Forbes. Honestly, the list goes on. It's pretty phenomenal, all the work that you've done, Ashley. So I'm thrilled to have you on here today. Welcome.
I'm so excited to be here, Velma, and thank you for everyone who's joining, and thank you for inviting me, because the work you're doing is so transformational.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so why don't you share a little bit about your background, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you started out, and what you're doing now.
Sure. So my background is, well, as an accidental entrepreneur. I never expected to be an entrepreneur. I never expected to be a business owner, to be quite frank with you. But I was always mission first, always about helping to make a difference and have a contribution in the world of some kind. And I just thought that that would be in a nonprofit space. So, when you think of mission first, a lot of times that's what people still think of, is go work for a nonprofit. And that's what I did. And then over time, I was feeling like I wanted to grow more. I wanted to go bigger in what I was doing. And it just so happened that I was invited to be on the founding team for the first no Photoshop fashion magazine, Verily, which, if anyone wants to check it out, it's online only. They're getting about 1 million views a month now. And it's verilymag.com. But I was invited to be on the founding team and just took a deep dive into the entrepreneur space. I moved to Manhattan, had no plan. I lived on $800 a month total in Manhattan off of my savings because I wanted to launch a company. And so literally it was like $650 a month for rent and like $150 for everything else. And so it was such a huge risk, but it was also such an exciting time because the 5 of us, or 5 original people on the team, we were all trying to figure out, how do we create something that's never been done before and create a media platform that can help women celebrate the best of who they are and feel comfortable in their own skin, really navigating the world from a place of worth instead of a place of lack. And so, that's obviously so needed. If you look at all the news feeds and social media platforms, like, we need that more than ever today. But at the time, there was actually a lot of skepticism. And people were asking us why we were launching a fashion magazine in a saturated market, all the things that you would normally receive skepticism from people who don't understand exactly what you're trying to do.
Mhm.
So what I realized was we need language and we need vocabulary to differentiate ourselves and create a space that previously did not exist. And so I opted to brand it as the first no Photoshop fashion magazine. And that campaign subsequently went viral around the world. I ran the PR for the launch strategy, and if anyone's familiar with my story, we got 180 media features in 8 months. And it was all the national platforms you could think of: New York Post, Harper's Bazaar, Upworthy, Queen Latifah Show. It was about the time the Today Show called us that I started realizing that media is extremely powerful, because it set us apart and really gave the magazine a platform to stand on that could then subsequently change policies. So Verily was back, it launched in 2013-ish as a print issue. It sold out in Barnes & Noble across the country. And what I realized is it was at the tipping point of all this global change that we now see around empowerment marketing, around authenticity, around no Photoshop. That's happening a lot more now. But at the time, it was nothing, like a wasteland. And so I'm just so excited about the role that business can play in fueling social change. And it opened my eyes to how mission first can also look like a business. It can also look like something that's profitable. And it fueled everything that I'm currently doing, but many transitions along the way. But that is how I got started.
Amazing. And can you share a little bit about what you're doing now with Appleseed Communications?
Yeah, sure.
Like how you went from Verily to Appleseed.
Yeah. So a little bit more about my background. I had been at Verily for about 3 years, and the magazine was doing great. It was growing exponentially. Currently, they have 1 million views a month, so it's really exciting to see a startup succeed. But I also realized that there were a few key problems, and that was, for example, we were working out of a co-working space, and we were basically the only women's table. So there were a lot of guys in the co-working space, everyone fueled by their vision to launch a business that was successful. But as the only women's table, we often had the UPS men and the FedEx men come to our table to drop off packages thinking that we were the secretaries. And we were sitting there like, we're launching a company that's probably going to outlast most of these in here. So I think we need to start reimagining what it means to look like a success. So I realized that a lot of women go overlooked and underappreciated for the vision and the values that they have. And I wanted to help more people using the skill set that I had accumulated in PR by giving women a platform and a voice to be heard. And I realized that media is leverage, and it is a megaphone to help accelerate your success in business. And so I wanted to take all of that and help more people. But it kind of came about in a happenstance way, which I could share if you would like, about
please.
how it all happened. Okay, so so basically, I'd been at Verily for 3 years, and I was getting restless to do more, work bigger, as you say. I wanted to grow more. I wanted to help more people. And I was doing a lot of soul searching because I had just broken up with a boyfriend. So how many times does that happen, and you reevaluate everything, like the meaning of life and the purpose of life? And so I was doing that. I also had a birthday coming up, which also becomes like very introspective for me, just to evaluate, how am I living? Where do I want to go? And I started to think about what could be next. And so actually, I decided to go on a vacation, very long overdue. I had not had a vacation in forever. And I went on a vacation and really took stock of my life. And what I saw was a blank slate, that truly everything could change: my current work, my relationships, where I was living. Everything was on the table. And what may have looked like something terrifying for a lot of people, I actually saw magic, and I saw an opportunity, because on that blank slate, I had the freedom to create and architect the life that I wanted to live moving forward. So what happened was I was receiving job offers from a lot of different companies, nonprofits. Going back to the nonprofit space was an option. Going into an agency was an option. But what I realized is that I had a dream, and my dream was to live anywhere, work from anywhere, help as many people as possible, and truly make the contribution that I know I was born to make on my own terms. Mm-hmm. And so what I realized is that I'm not actually alone. So many people have that same dream, but so many people don't truly believe that they could have it. So I started dreaming, and that was the foundation for everything. I started journaling. What would my life look like if I never again had to send a resume and wait for the powers that be to define my future? What would it look like if I could help so many people and pave a way and shine a light forward for them that their dreams are possible and they can live bigger and they can make the contribution they were born to make, and I can help them to do that by giving them the tools to share their voice. And so that was the catalyst of, really, the dream was the foundation for moving forward into everything that I wanted to do. But there was a key problem there, and that was that people were still doubters. So people were asking me, why are you turning down that job offer? Are you serious? You just turned down like number 5, I think it was. And what I realized is that I needed to turn the doubters into believers. And there was one person out of everyone, one person, including my family, they were skeptical. One person, we went out to lunch, and it was a man, actually. I'm very grateful for that mentorship. He said, go for it. Why are you waiting until some undisclosed date to launch a company? You already have people that you can help, which is more than many people have. Just do it. And so I did. I got started, and that has been just truly transformational. I'm in California now. I'm going to be in New York in October. I've worked from Australia. I've worked from Norway. I've worked from France. I've worked from so many different states, and I haven't ever lost productivity. And the people that I've been able to help that you've heard in the bio, those people indicate lives changed. And that's really what matters to me, is that business is about the people first. So I'm just excited about the fact that I get to wake up to living my dream every single day, and I just want to help more people and tell them, go for it. If this is something they're feeling like they want to do and no one else is telling them that they can, I want to be that person that just tells them, if you have a dream and you're itching to go bigger in your business or your life, then that is an indication, that is your permission to move forward.
Oh, thank you so much for just sharing all of the experiences that have led you to where you are today, and also just the resilience and the mindset, which is what I want to talk about now. So one of the core of what we're going to cover on this call is the 3 areas that are critical to succeed in when you're making a career transition, whether that is to entrepreneurship, which it is in your case, or a freelance career, or another 9-to-5 that's more mission aligned. And mindset, I think, from personal experience and also seeing so many other members in the Work Bigger community, is absolutely critical and the foundation to success, feeling that resilience, having a positive mindset, having a growth mindset. Can you share a little bit about the role that your mindset, how it's played a role in your success?
Yeah, totally. So it's such a good question. And what I realized in reflecting on the questions that we may discuss today is that today more than ever, we're all in a phase of transition. We're in a phase of transition more than ever before in history. When you look at the global landscape, the shifting economic trends, what people are facing today. So whereas our parents may have gone and worked for 30 years for a company, been successful, retired with a pension, we will not do that by virtue of the fact that the landscape hasn't changed. Therefore, no one has ever taught us how to navigate this new landscape, right? Our parents never taught us how to do it. So we live by the shoulds: go to college, get a good, safe, secure job. But the reality is that jobs today may or may not be safe and secure. So let me give you an example. there could be many people listening who love their jobs. I do have a girlfriend. She's very happy in her career. It's a wonderful career. But she feels restless that she wants to launch her business and go full time to actually make it work. There's another person that I know who worked successfully for a company for 11 years and just suddenly decided, they found out that he's going to be let go. Another girlfriend of mine, she is moving back to Australia. Even staying in the country may or may not be secure anymore. And so what happens is we face these new situations and we need new tools in order to navigate them appropriately. All things that you know, Belma.
Yeah.
But what I realized is that this also offers an opportunity because we have more opportunities than ever before to customize the life that we want. The pitfall of that is that we have more opportunities, which leads to increased analysis, which leads to increased paralysis. And the paralysis is a result of fear, not knowing how to do this, how to make the decisions. So a lot of time there's FOMO involved. If I make this decision, is it really the right one? Should I go back and do the other thing? And all of this is to say that the mindset has to shift away from that fear place into a new posture. So the reason why there's fear is because we have all of these blueprints around what we should be doing. But the reality is that there really is no should anymore, and the landscape has changed. So instead, we need to move into what you mentioned was a growth mindset. So there's two kinds of mindsets. One has helped me so much, and it's the concept of the fixed mindset or the growth mindset. And that is the work of Carol Dweck. She wrote this amazing book, Mindset. Do you know it?
Yeah. I've quoted it on the blog. She's awesome.
Is it so amazing?
Yeah.
It's so amazing. So why don't you give a brief recap, I guess?
Yeah, well, there was one example that stood out to me that I think I actually quoted in one of the articles on the blog. And she talks about how the way we talk about our skill set is I'm good at something, which stood out to me, but we really shouldn't be saying that because when we say I'm good at this or bad at that, that's fixed, right? And it's kind of getting in the way of the growth opportunity. Like I'm good at math or I'm bad at math. Yeah. Like, no, it's not so black and white. You're not good or you're bad at it. Yeah. And I forget exactly what she said the statement is. I have to go back and look at it. But the whole idea is that we've been approaching, I just remember even in school when I was a little girl, that's how I would approach my studies. Like, I'm good at science, I'm bad at science. And that in itself would limit what I could learn. So in a sense, if I'm bad at science, I shut the door on science. Right. I'm no longer exploring it. So moving away from that mindset to one of more open opportunities of I can learn science. If it's something that I don't understand, I can learn that. So that's one example of what I remember.
Yeah, that's a great example. And that's the concept of the success lies in the practice. So the more we're able to practice, the greater we will be able to achieve. We live in a world of infinite opportunities where never before has this volume of knowledge been available to us via the internet, via the global network that we now have. But I think what still occurs for a lot of women is this concept of the glass ceiling. So call it fixed mindset or growth. There's a lot of dialogue about how we need to overcome the glass ceiling and shatter the glass ceiling and increase opportunities for women, which is true. But there's also an internal glass ceiling that we have within our own minds. And the internal glass ceiling is what allows us to achieve. We will never achieve more than our own self-image. So whatever we think we can achieve is exactly what we will. So when we look up at that internal glass ceiling, it's actually a mirror. And the mirror that we see there of ourselves is what we will achieve. And so what I work to do in helping to overcome my own internal glass ceilings, but also to help and challenge other women, is to really evaluate what the shoulds were that we grew up with, that women are not allowed to be in this space, or this is inappropriate for women to do, or maybe the whole conversation about how businesses fail after X years, 2, 5, 10 years. That may be true, but what about all the pivots What about all the lessons learned along the way? So the entire point of all of this in achievement is investing in yourself first, because your business, your job, your professional success, your personal success, whatever you see there is going to be just the external manifestation of what is already internally true about you. So I challenge so many people to invest in themselves, your business, your professional life, your personal life. It is fueled by you as the engine. You're the common denominator in that, but also for myself. So I invest in myself first. I'm constantly learning and growing. I'll read 2 books a month. That's a personal goal of mine. It's been for 3 years. But also the rituals that I put in place that act as pillars and anchors for my life. And if you create the system of your life, that system will make you successful. So that's a starting point for the conversation when you think about achievement and mindset, is really start with yourself first, invest in yourself first, accumulation of knowledge and skills. Through practice, the success will arrive. And also the knowledge, just the awareness. We have an internal glass ceiling, and whatever that internal glass ceiling is what we see externally around us every day. So if we're happy with what we have achieved, great. No more work. Work here is done. If there's any way that we want to keep going, right, dismissed. But if there's any way that we feel restless or itchy to do more, or feel like we're allowing other people to define for us and give us permission about what we can achieve in this world, that deserves to be investigated.
Yeah. Can you share just an example of a ritual that you have that's just allowed you to have that growth mindset, or just get through periods of stress, anxiety, whatever it may be?
Sure. Yeah. So as I mentioned, that because there's so much transitioning happening all the time, the rituals that I have are the anchors within that transition. So it doesn't matter if I'm in one state or a different country, or I'm on a totally different time zone, that ritual stays the same. And that internal compass allows me to have and navigate my day from a place of intentionality and success. So I start with a morning routine. It's absolutely critical. It's a non-negotiable. Mm-hmm. And what I do is I'll wake up, and the hour may change. The hour could change. However, I have put in place certain structures so that I know when I wake up, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm not going to do. And that helps me approach the day, enter into the day from a place of abundance and grace, and with a mindset of success, ready to tackle the day instead of defaulting to whatever other people need. So I'd love to hear your morning routine if you have one. Put you on the spot.
I do. I know. I kind of do. I have to say, I still struggle a little bit with my morning routine, mostly because I wake up and I have to get my son ready for to bring him to the nanny. But really, one of the things that I'm super strict about is not checking my phone first thing when I wake up in the morning. My husband and I will coordinate certain things. So I have to jump in the shower, and that's kind of my time to focus and set my intention. And another thing that I use, which has been super helpful, is the 5-minute journal. So even while my son is sitting there having his milk and we're all sort of getting ready for the day, I make sure to block out even 3 minutes to write down my intention, and that helps me stay grounded. That's and when I am working at home, because I work part-time at the AP while Work Bigger gets off the ground, and at home half the week, I've been trying to be super consistent about meditating. So it's still something that I could use help in. So it hasn't quite clicked for me as far as a habit, but I do try to fit it in at least 3 times a week. And if I can't do it in the morning, I go back in the evening and spend time meditating or journaling or reflecting. But my goal is to find some point in the day where I'm feeling centered and living with intention. So that is, like what you said, is exactly what I try to anchor myself with as well.
Yeah, you've probably seen so many fruits from doing that and following through on that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's been life-changing. I think the journaling in the evening has really helped me reassess during the day, what's going on? When am I feeling stressed? Where is that stress coming from? And how can I shift that so that tomorrow I can sort of maybe not resolve it, because that feels like I'm putting pressure on it, but tackle it differently. Like, what do I need to do to overcome resistance or that stress or anxiety, whatever it is?
It's so amazing.
Yeah.
That I could geek out with you all day about routines.
Yeah.
They are the structure of my life. But I also journal in the evenings, or I actually have a planner. It's called a Panda Planner. It's absolutely amazing. So at the end of the day, you can evaluate where you were successful in your key priorities for the day, and also plan the day in advance for the next day, which has been really, really helpful. And then for morning routine, I work on doing journaling in the morning, also affirmations, very important for me. I'll do meditation or prayer, and it's usually about 4 parts. So the journaling will start with gratitudes. It'll go into some insight that I've realized, maybe from sleeping or from the day before, and then it'll go into affirmations, and then it'll close with to-do. So the to-do is the top kind of 3 to 5 key priorities for the day, and it just helps to provide structure to the day. And ultimately, we have to be, whether or not someone's actually doing a business, like you're doing, work bigger, I'm working full-time on my business, but whether or not someone is full-time in a job or working in their own business, everyone needs to be entrepreneurial today. And the entrepreneurial qualities are about being self-organized, self-motivated, and those are just quick hacks to help get that on track.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And you're totally right. I could geek out about this really all day. I want to talk now a little bit about mission. So when we think about making successful career transition, mindset, absolutely key for having a strong foundation and overcoming those roadblocks that we talked about, breaking through the shoulds and the internal glass ceiling. Now, mission, like having clarity on what it is you want, why you want it. It's key for helping you sort of head into the right direction. So, and the way I think of mission is you don't have to be focused on one thing, right? But it's an umbrella, like a larger goal that you're trying to achieve. So even if you have multiple projects that you love juggling, I'm all for that. But what do they reside under? What is the umbrella that you're trying to achieve? Maybe it's empowering women or something else. So for you, can you talk a little bit about your mission, what your mission is, and how it has been key in driving your transitions and success? So those are a lot of questions in one. So
I love it. So all of this, again, ironically grew out of journaling, and at being on that crossroads, taking that vacation, really that day, during that vacation, my only vow to myself is that I would journal every day. I literally had no plan. I had no itinerary. I knew no one where I was going. It was France. I didn't know the language. So literally I was like, I'm just going to go here and discover. And the only promise that I made to myself is that I would journal every day. What came out of that was about 250 pages of self-reflection and crystallizing what it was that I wanted to do. So how many times do we have the wisdom within us and that still soft voice that tells us exactly what we want to be doing? And that's the compass, but we've hidden it behind so many layers that it's impossible to be heard. So the journaling was the process of unveiling that. So I distill it down into one thing. My mission and purpose is to help women thrive personally and professionally. How I do that may change. Currently, it's through Appleseed Communications. I'm a visibility strategist. I help other women to accelerate their businesses through PR, through publicity, writing, speaking, getting featured. That helps women thrive professionally, because I believe business is a vehicle for social change and financial freedom. But in addition to that, there could be other things as well. So what I find a lot in speaking with people is that so many people are multi-passionate. They have a million interests and oftentimes are multi-talented as well. They also have many developed skills that they could use. And so again, going back to the paralysis, it can be scary to know which one to emphasize. And what I tell people is create a central theme that weaves through all of them. So what is my central mission? It's to help women thrive personally, professionally. But what is the theme within there that I just happened to do in my life? And I was really evaluating, and the theme was celebration. It was celebrating the best of who we already are. Ironically, the magazine tagline, ironically, was celebrating the best of who you are. We actually had consultants create that for us, so I didn't even design it, but it was so perfect. And then doing PR is all about celebrating other people's stories, other people's visions, their mission, and bringing that to the world. And also within my own life, I celebrate everything. I celebrate Fridays. I celebrate Mondays. I have Fist Bump Friday. I have a celebration tribe of people that we brag with each other about what we're accomplishing. And so mine's celebration, but it could be different for many people. The mission is your compass into a general direction. The discovery of how that plays out will become clear over time. So the big thing that came out of that trip to France and the 250 pages of journaling was I stopped myself because I think that there's certain things I should do and that I should be perfect at before doing. And the tagline or slogan that came out of that trip was, let go of perfection and embrace discovery. And as I embraced discovery, I realized that within there are so many lessons and a spirit of play that would not exist otherwise. Mm-hmm. So I invite people to follow the general direction of where they would want to go based on their dream, based on, what lights them up. But then within that, discover, practice, try things out, and over time it becomes clear. So a few weeks ago, I interviewed Anne Choquette. She's a former editor-in-chief of 17 magazine. And for someone with so many professional accolades and just a body of work that she has created for herself, I asked her, did you get overwhelmed by the size of your dream early in your career? How did you navigate that? And she said to me, actually, I don't think I always had that big of a dream. I took one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, and over time the dream expanded. So that's what I challenge people to do is, yes, dream, but don't be worried if you don't have it all figured out yet.
Yeah, I love what you said, how the mission is your compass and the how becomes clear over time. So which makes perfect sense, right? Because we change job roles. We shouldn't be in the same job for many, many years.
Right.
Even the same company. So being cognizant that is going to shift, but then you are anchored, right, in that mission, which for you is helping women thrive. So that's a really phenomenal example. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, just moving to the third aspect of successful transitions, I want to talk about taking action because, I love that you talked about journaling and self-reflection and getting super clear on what it was that you wanted to do and how you wanted to do that. So right now through PR, through Appleseed Communications and creating your own company, but then there's the taking action piece too. So just being cognizant of that, what does that look like? So can you talk a little bit about, as you were going through your career transition, what are some of the steps you took to make that shift?
Yes, definitely. So the first thing was giving myself permission to even do it in the first place. And I think that's the primary thing that holds people back is we wait for other people to give us permission to do what we already want to do.
Yep.
I don't think I'm the only one that faces that problem.
No.
So the first thing was giving myself permission, which now I try to give so many other people permission everywhere I can. So the first thing was that. The next thing was dream boldly. And so really dreaming, like we are the architects of our future. We are the creators of our lives. And what we are able to dream and conceive, we can achieve. If we never provide space for ourselves to dream, then we will only arrive at the size of the dream that we have. So what I say is your life expands to meet the size of the dream that you have. And we live small lives when we have small dreams. So what does that look like for any person? Could look different than mine, but it could be living from anywhere, working from anywhere. So that was my starting point. Then I started there. Then the next thing was start before you're ready. So this is something that I learned from Marie Forleo, and she's just a luminary when it comes to helping women with business. I did take her B school at the early onset of my career.
Oh, awesome. That's so cool.
I did. I highly recommend it. I actually have lifetime access. All her students do, and I do recommend it. I've gone back every single year and learned something new. So start before you feel ready is something that got me on the path towards going. And I meet people all the time who they tell me what their dream is and they never start. So that is one of the key things that I would tell people is just start. The next thing that I did is stay a student. So I mentioned Marie Forleo's B School. I did that. I started reading 2 books a month in a variety of different topic areas just to learn. Since that time, I have continued to invest in study through conferences, through networking communities. The Work Bigger community would be an amazing example of that. So staying a student is extremely important. And then the next thing is the follow through. So really, all 4 of them are important, but the follow through is what sets people apart from all others. And here's why. Yep. So many times, whether it's in PR, whether it's in business pitching, whether it's in sending out resumes to the job of your dreams, if we do get started, fantastic. We already set ourselves apart from so many different people. The follow through, in that action lies the result and the success that we are looking for. That's the progress. So following through would look like this. We send a resume and we never hear back. For so many women, we've been groomed to never rock the boat, always be liked, never confront anyone. So it's very hard for us when someone doesn't reply to follow up and advocate for ourselves. We literally don't know how to do it because it causes tension and we don't like creating tension.
Yeah.
So what I learned how to do is dance in the tension. And now I train other women in how to do that. So I literally have a follow-up formula that I use. And it goes like this. It says, dear name, following up here, ... Any interest? And then that's it. And I can't tell you how many amazing opportunities that one little email has opened doors for me because people don't follow up. And so the following up piece, even if it's 2-3 times, almost always results in progress.
Yeah.
So the following up and then the following through, they're kind of the same thing, but completing the things that we start. And even if it's not exactly the way that we want it, again, going back to letting go of perfection, embracing discovery, just ship the product. Just send it out there. And every single one will be, better than it was before. And the practices and the progress is in the success. So following through, I would definitely emphasize that.
You and I both attended the Lady Project Summit. We were speakers there in March, and I remember sitting in on your session, and you shared that framework for the follow-up note, and that really resonated with me because I loved how direct it was and to the point, and you're not apologizing for bothering them. It's like just following up. And you're so right that we are taught to not rock the boat. And that tension can feel so uncomfortable for us, but identifying like what makes you most uncomfortable, like what is super, super scary, and then addressing that head on. And again, this sounds so much easier said than done, but it's terrifying. I mean, I'm actually in the process of going through a similar breakthrough myself. And there is just so much growth there. And also when you face that roadblock that is likely so ingrained just based on our childhood and the way women are socialized, facing that, there's so much power in that. And then you realize like that tension, it's not bad. And really, if there is tension, you're ultimately dealing with just the fear of it and the fear of what others may perceive you as. Like that's been a big roadblock for me. I don't I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want people to think I'm overly aggressive or assertive or in their faces. So identifying what is it that really scares you and makes you uncomfortable, and why? Like, where does that come from? What did you hear growing up that makes us feel awkward following up and like we're stepping on their toes? And then pushing through that. So I love that you called that out. And I also love the directness of your follow-up.
Well, if I can just add to what you said, thank you so much for sharing your perspective on that, because I felt that I wasn't the only one, but here's why I think it is. It's because we struggle with this because we are not 100% convinced that the message we have to share is a gift to other people. And we feel that it is a burden. And so advocating for ourselves becomes something that is annoying, putting other people out. It's an inconvenience. And as soon as we shift to realizing that the message, the mission, the work, the contribution that we have to share by our very existence is a gift, following up becomes a lot easier, because then we're not annoying them, we're doing them a favor.
You are so right. That is huge. I'm really glad you called that out. Exactly. So for anyone who's applying to a job and not hearing back, exactly, you're not bothering them. They are lucky to have the opportunity to work with you, for you to share your story, your value, your contribution. And you're completely right. It's about owning what we're bringing to the table and being super proud of that. And I think it takes time to get there. It takes a lot of self-reflection. It also takes a lot of pushing yourself to learn and grow and, challenge those roadblocks, which I think, as you said, you've done that very well and created a system to cover against those issues that come up. So I love that.
I just want to encourage so many other women to dig deep and to start challenging that paradigm, that paradigm that feeling as though you're a burden or as though what you have to offer may not be really that cool or that great. I talk to women all the time because I represent women entrepreneurs. So I'll talk to women entrepreneurs. That's my primary, also solopreneurs. But a lot of times the women entrepreneurs I speak with, they sit in their homes slaving away 24/7 on a business that's amazing. It's amazing. And they look at their peers who are receiving press and attention and speaking opportunities, and they wonder why they are not getting featured. And I said to them, what you're selling out your programs every single time. You've built a massive team. Like, you are so ready to go out there. What would be holding you back? And they say they're not sure that they're anything special, and they don't want to be the face of something. They want it to be about the business. They don't want it to be about them. And so that indicates a mindset issue, going back to mindset, which is about understanding that we deserve to own the message and the mission and the contribution that we have. This is our existence, and it is a gift. So just to encourage people and to share that it's so common. So if it's you, and it's me at times, and I'm sure, Velma, you would say too, like, we will always be at various degrees of this paradigm. It's the world that we live in. However, once we recognize that we have power and agency, and we can move forward. So if it is you, just give yourself grace, acknowledge it, and then identify where it's rearing its head in your life. That is the launch pad for greater success in the future.
Oh, I love it. You just gave me the chills. Thank you, Ashley. Everything you shared is incredible and so valuable, and I feel like I've learned a lot. I see questions coming in, so should we just take some time to answer those now?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, yeah. If anyone wants to ask
Awesome.
questions.
Allison, hi Allison. Thank you so much for joining. Allison, it looks more like a comment. She said, "Thank you for framing it as a gift versus a burden. So important to remember, and I needed that reminder."
Yes.
Thank you. Allison, she's amazing. She graduated from the Work Bigger program in June and is an invaluable member of the Work Bigger community. So Allison, just thank you for being here. Let me check on the Facebook Live to see if any questions have come in there.
Yeah, I'm happy to be a resource to anyone. If it's about business or if it's about life hacks, being productive as an entrepreneur, happy to share.
I see a couple of comments. Thank you for that, Ashley. Just has been invaluable. I'm trying to find, here it is. Okay, Laura says, have to hop off, but love this so much. And Jenna says, able to listen in for a few. So happy to catch a bit of this.
Oh,
Thank you,
good.
ladies. Thank you so much. Awesome. Okay, so I would love to round out our conversation with a couple more questions, if that's cool.
Sure.
So would just love to hear 1, 2, 3 tips. I mean, you've already provided so much valuable information and just guidelines on how to make a transition, but any other words of encouragement or tips or advice that you have for women who are in that transition point, so in the very beginning stages of launching their career or trying to find a mission-driven company or company that resonates with them, but they're feeling demoralized or stressed and are just not in the best place?
Sure. I'm breathing deeply because I feel this is so many people today, and I want people to feel confident that what they have to share and what they are offering the world is of worth. And so what I tell people most often is start before you're ready. I tell most people today to act like an entrepreneur or become an entrepreneur. The reason why is because the mindset of self-starting, following up, taking ownership of your life will pay lasting dividends, whether you're within a company or your own company. Invest in yourself. So invest in yourself. What does that look like? Additional training, additional networks, mentorship. If you cannot currently identify 5 key people that you know in your life who you want to be like, or you want what they have, it's time to expand the network. So finding people to surround yourself with who can help to elevate you and move you, shift you from where you are into the place where you want to be. Go for it. And just know that it's important to make doubters into believers. So don't look at if your current social circle or your current situation, such as job hunt is not going well, or you haven't raised a round of funding yet, or your website's terrible. If you look at the current situation and you say, this is my reality, you will stay right where you are. If you look at your current situation and you see beyond it to the solution and the dream, you will always transcend your current situation. So don't allow the current situation to dictate your actions. Allow your dreams to dictate your actions. If your dream is big, you will take big, bold actions. You will make big, bold asks. You will follow up because you're convinced that the dream will get you where you want to go, and you will figure it out. But if you look at what people tell you and allow that to be the echo chamber for the glass ceiling, then you will pause. So I just encourage people, go for it.
Thank you. I love it. I love it so much. And I don't have anything to add to that. I would love to, can you share with us now, just to round this out, and then I'll do a brief recap and share some resources too with everyone to make sure they know where to find you and how to reach you. Anything you want to share about what you're working on right now for Appleseed Communications? Would just love to hear what's in the works for Ashley.
Oh, sure. So I'm very excited. If people want to find me, they can find me on Twitter or Instagram. My handle is ashcrouch1.
And I'm sharing it here. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. ashcrouch1. If they want to check out the website and they're interested in my work, if they're interested in raising visibility for their products, their service, their business, their mission, whatever it is, the website is Appleseed Communications. Also, I'm very excited, and I feel that this would be such a game changer for so many people. I just released my online publicity accelerator course. It is a complete A to Z implementation program. I will literally hold your hand. There's weekly mentorship. There's modules if anything here resonated with you and wanting to feel like you want to go bigger, you want to play a bigger game, this could be your year. You're asking yourself, if not now, when? If any of these things maybe made you feel like you want to take it to the next level, I will mentor you. So I will teach you every single thing I've learned from the better part of a decade doing publicity, working with some of the top, most amazing clients in the world, all the success we've received with national outlets. I will teach you from start to finish, and you won't have to pay agency rates. So I call it the max for the minimum. You get the highest impact training, mentorship, and support with worksheets, checklists, white files, all that, for the most affordable price point possible. So you could still go at your own pace. It'll be convenient. At whatever stage you're at, if you want to raise visibility for yourself, this is the program for you. So it's Master the Media, and that is $350 a month. Most agencies start at $3,000 a month. So I'm excited because it's going to be a tenth of the price. You're learning every single thing that I know. I'm bringing in additional trainers to help Forbes contributors and the like. And it's $350 a month for 3 months.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ashley. And I shared the link for your website, your Twitter handle, the course that you're launching so that everyone can take a look at your work. I also included, for anyone who doesn't have it, I believe everyone who's on is already a reader of the blog, but the 3-step process to finding your mission. So if you need some extra support, that's in there. And then also we're hosting a happy hour in New York City on Monday. So I included the link to that. So feel free to stop by. And now just want to do a brief recap on all the valuable information that Ashley shared with us today. So just as far as 3 areas that you need to thrive in when making a successful career transition, whatever that looks like. So what's your mindset like, right? Take inventory of what you're saying to yourself. What are the shoulds? What is that glass ceiling, and how can you break through that? Are you clear on what you want to do big picture wise? Do you know what that theme is? So identifying that theme and also staying flexible on the how you do that, and tuning into what your strengths and your weaknesses are so that you can shift your how if you need to. And then lastly, taking action. So that framework you shared is my absolute favorite, being direct with your follow-up, not being afraid to feel that tension and get a little uncomfortable, because that's the way you know that you're making breakthroughs and pushing through your roadblocks. Oh, and I'm so sorry, we have 3 more questions, if that's okay. Can we jump? We have like 5 minutes left, so we'll jump into those. Okay. Stephanie asked, will this be available for later? Yes, Stephanie will definitely be available. Christy Abraham asked, so Christy is in the process of possibly transitioning from finance to health. And she said, what's the best platform to start advertising your business? Yeah, so it's a little broad. So I'd want to say, Christy, feel free if you want to chat about that maybe after, we can talk about it, unless Ashley, you have any quick tips on best platform to start advertising.
Yeah, so actually I have some tips that will be a launch pad, and Christy, for sure, feel free to look me up, shoot me an email. I also teach a lot of workshops on this, live masterclasses, so you can tune in if you sign up, and I'll send you all the details for that. It sounds like what Christy's saying is that she maybe has been in a job and she's transitioning to a business of her own.
Yes.
Or she's had her own business and she's now pivoting to a different topic area. Okay, so some of the key things, the former. Okay, she's had a job and she's transitioning to a business of her own. Fabulous. Okay, so here's some of the questions she may have in her mind. How do I not lose my followers by such a dramatic brand shift? Right? So I've been in finance, now I'm in health. What are people going to say? How do I describe that in the message, that the messaging and the positioning that I'm using as I do this transition? People always expect and understand if you're transitioning fields. What you need to do is to build a bridge for them about how what you're currently doing is related to what you were doing before. Maybe it's your central why, your central mission, why you suddenly feel that health is going to be something more impactful, or you decided to make this leap. People will go on that journey with you. So that is the first thing. So really working on the positioning there. The second thing is you have a business and now you're trying to raise visibility for it. There's key ways to do it. One, you can do Facebook ads. So you're going to do an ad spend. You're going to see click-through rates. You're going to work on all of that and optimize it in order to get traffic to your website. The next way is to elevate yourself as a thought leader. And for that, you're going to start contributing to outlets. You're going to start speaking more. You're going to start demonstrating your industry expertise. And for that, you want to do that through publicity. The third way is to get press for yourself. So in raising visibility, within that would be my wheelhouse of what I train people to do. And in the Master Media program, I would teach you exactly how to do that. The key thing to note is that when you're raising visibility as opposed to an ad spend, how is this different? It's different because when you're raising visibility, you're on a stage or you're in an article or you've written an article that has a higher level of trust than someone who sees an ad. So in an ad, you see a direct click-through rate and you can track it. However, ads interrupt people's lives. So I use both ads and press, and ads are interrupting their advertising. They interrupt your daily life. So you're looking through a Facebook newsfeed or Instagram, and you're seeing something that's not what you went to Instagram or Facebook for, right? Like you went there to hang out with your friends, and then you see an ad. If you see a story and someone shares a story, or you share a story that you wrote, that means that someone took the time to interview you because you're genuinely and legitimately awesome. And whoever reads that will have a higher level of respect and trust for what they're reading about you. It creates more positive feelings around your brand. So those are the two key things and kind of the key differentiators between marketing, more traditional marketing, and visibility, which I feel is such a critical life skill to learn how to do that today because of the tribe that you're going to create around yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And Christy, thank you for asking the question. I wasn't sure if you meant social media platforms, but Ashley, I think, did a really good job of answering the question. And if you have follow-up after that, just feel free to reach out to me or to comment in the Facebook Live. So thank you, Christy and Ashley. And the last question is from Allison. She said, how do you maintain a gap between the people who may be doubters, but are important people in life, like family? Yeah, that's a really good question. So I think what Allison is asking is, like when you have people you love, family, close friends, but they're not necessarily fully supportive of your idea, how do you manage that so that you can move forward with your dream, but you don't, these aren't people that you necessarily want to like cut from your life because they're super close to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we can all agree that there are people like that in our lives. So you're not alone, Allison. Here's how to cope, and also not just cope, but thrive through that. One, you're going to create a level of emotional distance. So what does that mean? Doesn't mean cut them out. It means establish internal emotional boundaries. So you're not going to share your deepest innermost dream with them because they are not capable of seeing it and appreciating it to the full capacity that you need. So you're going to establish some boundaries and you're going to share with more discretion. Next, you're going to create a new family or friend circle through intentionality and literally asking people. So you're going to look for mentors, you're going to look for positive people who get your dream, and you're going to share. It could be one person, it could be 5 people, but you need a new tribe. So here's a quote for you. You can never fight your culture. So if you're not currently happy with the culture that you have, maybe through your partner or through your family or through your friend circle, you're going to need to create a new one. And that one is going to be your support system. That's where you share the dreams that you have. Don't share to the doubters yet. Let the doubters become believers by the result. So you're going to just act and do it and keep going for it, and the result will make them the believers, not all the talk. All the talk that you have doesn't make believers. So you're going to talk to the people who support you. They're going to fuel your action. Your action is going to make the doubters into believers.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ashley. This was amazing and really honestly honored to have you share your story and share all the valuable advice that you've shared with us
Oh,
today.
thank you,
And
Belma.
yeah, and thank you for sharing your work. And I'll follow up with that on the Facebook Live. We'll share all the resources there. And just, super grateful to spend this hour with you. Any last minute thoughts or anything else?
I'm just excited for everyone in your community and the tribe that you've created. So going back to Allison's question, it's perfect community. The Work Bigger community is a perfect community for a new tribe that you've created of people who do dream big. They are believers. They are willing to lean into that restlessness and move forward. And I believe that everyone, if they plug into that, will be able to see exponential returns in their own lives, both professionally, personally, etc. And then if people are interested in joining the Master Media program, the fall cohort is open now. And through the end of August, the fall cohort is open and available to participate in that. So I'd love to be a resource to you. If you have any other questions, just reach out, look me up.
Thank you so much, Ashley, and have a
Thank
good
you.
day, everyone. Thanks again for everyone who joined live. We'll make sure to share this with you. But yeah, take care, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.